college football on Labor Day weekend. And when the NFL isn't starting week 1 this weekend, that means college football had Saturday, they had Sunday, they have Monday. And on Monday, we have an SEC ACC matchup between Ole Miss and Louisville. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, Higgins, Labor Day weekend's always fun in college football. FSU always hosts that Sunday night game, and the Monday night game is usually a good one. This time we've got Ole Miss, Louisville, like you said. No Lane Kiffin, which caught my attention on Saturday, Higgins. I was trying to beat the books, get the Louisville line, whatever it was. Louisville still plus 10.5. I like Malik Cunningham. I like Louisville's coach. He was at App State last year. Not the best year at Louisville, but I think year two, a full off season, they'll improve. So Louisville plus 10.5 with Ole Miss missing their coach Higgins. I like that a lot. The minus 115 doesn't really scare me off because at the end of the day, what's the difference between winning 9-10 and like 860? Not much. So, we'll take it, Higgins. So, maybe I'll bet 2 units on it because it's a standalone game and I'm only betting one baseball game. And this will definitely have my attention on Monday night. Malik Cunningham, Matt Corral. This one's going to be high scoring, a lot of fun, some dual threat quarterback play. I haven't said a word about either of these defenses. I don't know a thing about either of these defenses. This game screams offense to me.
Well, I'll talk about the defenses in a second, Brett, but I like your reasoning and your pick because if Lane Kiffin were there for the game, I probably would be on Ole Miss with Matt Corral, who is someone that if you look at odds for potential number 1 pick in the NFL draft next year, he's one of those names in the top 7-ish area. But to the defenses, to the point you were making with that, Brett, neither of these defenses were very good last year. In fact, I took a look at this over-under, which is set at 53.5, and I'm hammering this over. Absolutely hammering this over. Because you look at a team like the Louisville Cardinals, who last year played 11 games. 7 of these games, there was at least this over getting hit, and there was multiple times that there was a team scoring 40 points. Hint, it wasn't Louisville. And then you look at Ole Miss, they had 6 of their 10 games where not only this over would have hit, but one of the teams scored 40 points. Hint, it wasn't Ole Miss. So, I'm expecting without Lane Kiffin being there that there's going to be some potential big play errors that Louisville might be able to capitalize on, get some quick points. I also expect Ole Miss with Matt Corral and their high-profile quarterback to come out all guns flowing and getting maybe a lot of more pick in the play calls than he would have if Lane Kiffin was there. Maybe he's going to take a few more risky shots without his head coach being on the sidelines. It could be interesting. I really like this. I really like this over at 53.5. I see 60 plus points being scored personally.
Yeah, I think the over is definitely going to come into play. I guess I'm more concerned from an Ole Miss standpoint of Lane Kiffin not being there to call the offensive plays. I don't know how great of a defensive play caller
Yeah.
he is, right? He came up on the offensive side of the ball. They Ole Miss, especially last year, was very explosive on the offensive side of the ball. So I think they might lose a little bit from that perspective, but I think you're right, Higgins. I mean, I like both these quarterbacks. They're exciting. They know how to put up points. They're experienced. So I look for a little bit of a bounce back for Cunningham at Louisville. Down year last year, much better his sophomore season the year before. And then Corral looked pretty good last year, and I hope he can build on it year two in the same offense. So lots of excitement for Monday night's game, Higgins.
Well, you're right. There's plenty of mystery with Lane Kiffin being out because of COVID, and Ole Miss is playing their cards a little close to their chest. They have not revealed who's going to take over the head coaching duties or who's going to be up in the booth. And so it's going to be interesting how that dynamic works. Does the defensive coordinator have to take the head coaching duties? How would that impact him with his defense if he has to be a little bit more focused on the offense? It just all plays into it. I think it's going to mean that I could see a 42-28 game. I could see a 49-35 game. I don't see a lot of defense. I see a lot of offense in this. Like you were talking about with these quarterbacks, I think there's a lot of potential for some explosive plays. And Matt Corral, Brett, there's a line in Oregon right now. If you wanted to bet that he would be the number one pick in the 2022 NFL draft, he is one of three quarterbacks that's listed at plus 1,000, along with Brock Purdy and JT Daniels. There are 6 quarterbacks listed in the top 7. So, Brett, I gotta ask, is a quarterback most likely going to get drafted number 1 next year? The top 2 in terms of odds are Spencer Rattler and Sam Howell, and neither of them had a good weekend.
Yeah, tough weekend for those two. But yeah, quarterback's going number 1, Higgins. It's the nature of the league, the nature of the position. I guess, people will argue Kayvon Thibodeau, the defensive end from Oregon. Although, again, you want to talk about tough week ones, ankle injury in the second quarter for Mr. Thibodeau. So,
Still had 2 tackles, a sack, a tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble, though.
okay, well, go draft an injured player at number 1 overall, Higgins.
Very true. Point out the negative. I'm just pointing out the positive from his week 1 performance.
No,
Even though
take
his
the
day
injured
was
guy.
short, he was still amazingly impactful.
Yeah, no one doubts the talent. But yeah, and he missed 2.5 quarters with an ankle injury. I'm not taking away the sack. I'm seeing the sack.